For over 50 years, the Barbie doll has occupied store shelves and filled toy boxes for young girls in America and around the world as the predominant fashion doll of the toy industry. She is a cultural icon for beauty, fashion, and of course, an impossibly proportioned figure contributing to the increasing number of American adolescent girls with poor body images. The title Barbie doll seems all the more appropriate for Marge Piercy's poem, in which she abhors societal and cultural expectations placed on American teenage girls. The poem's 4 stanzas take the reader through a brief summary of the speaker's life, from birth to a dismal death. The tone of the poem is depressed throughout, exemplifying the poem's disregard for the negative cultural impact on girls' self-images. Likewise, the dejected tone reflects the sorrowful life led by the young girl while constantly attempting to perfect herself in order to be accepted in society, when she truly was best when she was herself. The concept of perfection is wound throughout the figurative language in the poem. In childhood, the girl was presented dolls and miniature GE stoves and irons and wee lipsticks the color of cherry candy. Many Americans can relate to these concrete images, and even a name brand, to conjure images of the reader's own earlier years of life. This strengthens his or her connection to the poem, making it all the more relevant, and thus, Piercy's message becomes all the more powerful. These concrete items also contribute to the girl's ideas of perfection. Because she doesn't fit the Barbie doll mold with perfect clothes, looks, and material goods, these objects ultimately lead to her dissatisfaction with who she is. The stereotypical female items mentioned in Piercy's poem are also significant in their functions. Irons are used to smooth out clothes and eliminate wrinkles, essentially perfecting any flaws that clothes may have. Similarly, lipstick is a form of makeup. Makeup, of course, is used to cover up one's imperfections of natural beauty. Yet another attempt to reach perfection. Even the accessories that go with a childhood toy influence a child's assumptions that perfection is everything. The use of the word magic to describe puberty is ironic because it is magical in the sense that an illusion is produced through the power and influence of deception, rather than magic as in the fantastical or enchanting sense one might expect. A few rude remarks and cultural expectations influence the girl to feel inadequate as well. "You have a great big nose and fat legs," a classmate said. The curtness of the classmate's comment, along with his use of simple adjectives, reflects his immaturity and irrationality for making such a statement. Unfortunately, one insult was the catalyst to the girl's downhill spiral to an unsuccessful conformation to society's ideal image of a young woman. The first part of the second stanza explains how healthy, intelligent, and competent the girl was, but this wasn't enough. This is soon followed by her continuous apologies for her trivial imperfections, her fat nose on thick legs, her body that didn't precisely match the perfectly curvy figure of a Barbie doll. And so, the subject does what seems appropriate to make herself more acceptable. She was exhorted to exercise, diet, smile, and so forth. Piercy uses irony yet again in these lines because these behaviors, which are meant to be healthy and enjoyed by one who is intrinsically motivated to do them, were instead pressed upon her as requirements to fit the mold of perfection. Here, diet refers to eating something on the order of lettuce and water to be thin, rather than simply eating healthy. It is therefore no surprise that the girl's good nature wore out like a fan belt. Just as the belt of a fan wears out with use after a while, the girl wears herself out in her continuous effort to please those around her, rather than being satisfied with who she truly is. She manipulates her body by cutting off her nose and legs, another attempt to be one step closer to perfection. In the final stanza, irony presents itself once again. The satin on which she lays in her casket is a symbol of perfection, and the pink and white outfit is reminiscent of a Barbie doll. The putty nose may refer to one altered by plastic surgery, and cosmetics painted on are certainly references to the makeup she wears. All of these assets contribute to the girl's consummation at last. Sadly, she's accepted not because of her character, but because of the alterations and aspects of her warped appearance which fit her conformation to a cultural expectation. Piercy shows how consequential compromising to society's false standards truly are. The death of the girl in the poem also exemplified the death of her true being, due to all the changes made to please a culture norm. Instead of everyone striving for an unachievable standard, Piercy contends that each person should be recognized for their true character. Be recognized for their true character.